Driverless cars are already on American streets, with no one behind the wheel. And depending on who you ask, they're either the future of transportation or a disaster waiting to happen. Because behind the viral videos and billion-dollar valuations, there's a different story. Tons of accidents, dangerous maneuvers, and furious citizens in cities across the country, all because of self-driving cars. But are these concerns valid or completely blown out of proportion? And are we headed towards a future where humans won't even be able to drive? Stay tuned. In this video, we'll be discussing everything you need to know about self-driving cars, and whether they're the future or a complete lie. The self-driving race is currently headed by two major companies, Tesla and Waymo. Tesla, Elon Musk's electric car company, needs no introduction. Waymo is less known, despite working on self-driving technology for longer than Tesla. Waymo was founded in 2009 as part of Google X's startup lab. Researchers wanted to test the limits of modern-day sensors to see if a fully autonomous car could truly be built or if it was just a pipe dream. After many iterations in its early years, including a self-driving pizza delivery car, Waymo was finally ready to offer their cars to the public. Their first public rider was in 2015, when a blind man used a Waymo to ride around Austin, Texas. There was no driver behind the wheel. Soon after, Waymo launched 100 modified Chrysler Pacificas on the streets of Phoenix, Arizona for public use. Many riders loved the service, but it wasn't without its problems. In 2019, a woman posted a TikTok video of her Waymo inching into oncoming traffic and attempting to turn left on a massive 6-lane road. Despite many millions of miles driven, Waymo still has not worked out all of the edge cases in its automated driving software. Waymo is also feeling pressure from Tesla. Starting in 2014, Tesla cars were installed with cameras and other hardware in preparation for self-driving. Then, in 2015, Musk launched Tesla's Autopilot. It functioned more as an adaptive cruise control at first, but it quickly got upgraded. Soon, users could summon their cars from the Tesla app. Then, Tesla released the beta version of their full self-driving software. Users were impressed, and the software was upgraded rapidly over the coming years. But FSD wasn't without controversy. Many reports of users sleeping in their Teslas while FSD took the wheels surfaced, and several fatal accidents linked to FSD made users ask an important question. Is this software really safe? Although Waymo and Tesla were trying to solve the same problem, they approached it with very different solutions. Waymo cars have massive LiDAR and radar sensors, meaning that they can more effectively detect objects around them from all angles. Waymo cars are also geofenced in certain cities, meaning that they are manually trained to drive on certain streets and not permitted to leave that area. Tesla chose a different technique. They chose to only install 8 cameras on their cars instead of Waymo's huge array of sensors. This makes Tesla's much cheaper, but lacking in perception. Tesla also did not believe in the geofencing approach for their cars. They instead focus on gathering data from their consumer vehicles and using that to train their FSD software. The goal is that the software can be pushed to Teslas around the globe, and the cars can drive themselves on any road, anywhere. Waymo is trying to build perfect drivers in small areas, while Tesla is trying to build good drivers everywhere. It seems that the market is much more bullish towards Tesla's approach. In the midst of recent expansion plans, Waymo recently raised $16 billion at a $126 billion valuation to build out their robotaxi fleet. But this is dwarfed by Tesla's $1.15 trillion market cap. Before we go any further, I'd like to know, how do you feel about self-driving vehicles on the road? Are you a fan, or do you trust human drivers over AI? Let me know in the comments section below. At first, it seemed like Waymo had won. After launching their robotaxi service in Phoenix, they expanded rapidly. In 2018, Waymo purchased 20,000 Jaguar I-Paces, added sensors, and launched them across the Bay Area. To date, Waymo has driven more than 30 million miles in San Francisco alone, and their cars have become commonplace in the city. Many residents appreciate the convenience of the cars and not having to deal with an obnoxious cab driver early in the morning or after a long workday. But Waymo cars haven't been perfect. In January 2025, the first fatality involving a Waymo occurred in San Francisco. Reports say that a speeding vehicle slammed into a line of parked cars, including an empty Waymo. The fatality did not occur in the Waymo, but headlines with the words "driverless car" and "fatality" were enough to stir some into a frenzy. But this next case would drive anyone crazy. In late 2024, residents in a San Francisco apartment building began complaining of Waymo cars honking at each other non-stop, even in the middle of the night. After a flurry of complaints, Waymo fixed the problem through a series of software updates. But I think even the most die-hard self-driving enthusiast would be ready to snap after being woken up at 4 a.m. to that. Waymo had another secret hiding in its operations: its support staff. Most reside in the Philippines and have to manually take over the car when the self-driving software fails and gets stuck. If you have people to remotely drive the car out of obstacles, can you truly claim the car is autonomous? Despite setbacks, Waymo has expanded to LA, Miami, and Texas, and will be launching in other cities this year. Tesla's robotaxi program is newer, but copied much of Waymo's playbook. The service launched in mid-2025 in a geofenced area of Austin, Texas. A fleet of Tesla Model Ys were put into service with a human safety driver behind the wheel. Several news reports quickly surfaced of Tesla robotaxis making erratic maneuvers and clearly violating traffic rules. Despite its initial robotaxi layout looking similar to Waymo's, Tesla's future plans are much different. Musk envisions a world where Tesla owners can turn their personal vehicles into robotaxis at any time, allowing them to earn money while they're not using their car. However, some are skeptical of Tesla. Many experts claim that Waymo's LiDAR and radar approach to self-driving is safer, and that Tesla is cheaping out by only using cameras. Tesla does have some institutional support. Insurance company Lemonade recently launched a policy specifically for Tesla cars with FSD. Their website claims that since Tesla full self-driving is 50% safer, they will charge 50% less for each mile driven with FSD. Insurance companies aren't in the business of losing money, so this is a huge vote of confidence for Tesla. But Waymo and Tesla aren't the only competitors in the self-driving race. One company that's rapidly expanding into the self-driving space is Uber. It makes sense. One of Uber's largest costs are its drivers, so why not try to eliminate that expense? Uber's first attempt at self-driving came in 2016 when it acquired Otto for $680 million. It seemed perfect. Otto was headed by former Waymo executives and had prototypes ready for the road. But the dream acquisition quickly became a nightmare. 6 months after the acquisition, Google sued Uber, claiming that Otto executives stole proprietary Waymo technology. Uber had to pay Google $245 million in stock. The executive was fined $25 million and sentenced to 6 months in prison. After this fiasco, Uber shuttered Otto, and it looked like the self-driving dream was dead. Then, Uber stepped into the ring again with a different plan. Instead of trying to make their own autonomous vehicle, they wanted to be the marketplace for all autonomous vehicles. And recently, they've gone on a deal-making spree. In March of 2026, Uber agreed to invest $1.25 billion into EV maker Rivian as part of its plan to deploy thousands of robotaxis in 2028. They've also partnered with NVIDIA to develop an AI operating system for autonomous vehicles. They've done several other important deals, showing that Uber won't be left behind when self-driving vehicles begin to take market share in the ride-sharing industry. Who knows whether the same can be said for competitors like Lyft. Speaking of left behind, what about legacy automakers? The most infamous example of this was Cruise, the self-driving division of General Motors. Cruise was an autonomous driving startup founded in 2013 and acquired by General Motors in 2016. Starting in 2022, Cruise began offering autonomous rides in San Francisco, starting with an initial fleet of 100 cars. However, in 2023, disaster struck. A Cruise self-driving car hit a pedestrian, and instead of stopping, proceeded to drag her down the street while she was still trapped under the car. The state of California quickly revoked Cruise's self-driving permit, and the company never recovered. GM folded Cruise into its driver assist program in early 2025, marking the end of an expensive and disastrous experiment. Self-driving car companies promise a future where traffic is a memory and automotive fatalities are zero. But is self-driving technology really the best way to solve these problems? There could be an easier solution that many overlook because it isn't as impressive as seeing a car driving down the street with no one behind the wheel. Many activists think that instead of focusing on upgrading cars with self-driving technology, we should be focusing on reducing car dependency in our cities. With more walkable and bikeable areas, people will be less likely to drive cars in the first place. Simply providing alternatives to driving could do more to solve traffic than self-driving cars ever could. There's not much money in making cities more walkable, so venture capital firms aren't interested. So, the future of transportation might not be self-driving cars at all. It might just be fewer cars. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to stay up to date on the most important tech and business news, please subscribe and check out our next video.